Looking forward for the finals in those in December. For today's episode, we're going in depth in this interesting topic called financial literacy. So let's hear from Daria first from potential.com how to finish your online part. After you.
Thank you, Sayeda. The most questions that we have been receiving is how do I finish it? How can I work on the program? So basically, the program guides you from A to Z. You are watching the videos, you're learning, and then you're implementing your knowledge with responding to one question. So again, although it seems like there's a lot of different modules, there are actually just three areas of learning. So first is sustainability, which is very easy. And here you actually see which are the things that basically are the most important for you and for the communities where you're living. Here you select the goal, then you go into innovation, design thinking. Here you actually see how, when you have a problem, how with innovative way you can come up to the solution. So it guides you within 4 stages. And then it comes to the financials. This probably is the part which most students are scared of. And it's nothing to be scared of. That's why also we have this webinar today to shed a bit more light to it. Also, what I wanted to say is each video will take you in a simple way to understand the financials better. And you could research how everything applies to your idea. And again, you can change it if you see some better idea, if you see some better costing, you can change it throughout the time. And also, even if you're shortlisted in the semifinals, you can still change it until the end. You can change it until the end of the finals if you're selected for the finals as well. And in the finals, in the acceleration program, you really get in depth with all the subjects mentioned in the online program itself. So don't get discouraged. And as Sayeda mentioned, now we are really internationally acknowledged and awarded program. So if you finish the online part with having your idea, then you will get a certificate, and it's a certificate of acknowledged and awarded program. So you really, really have nothing to lose. And of course, if I didn't answer all your questions, please write them in the chat. So if there's anything else, I can come back in at the end. And of course, if you make it to the first, you made it to the first stage already, you registered. If you make it till the end of online program, you're going to get a certificate. If you're going to go through the semifinals, you're going to get the chance to bring your idea to life at the workshop at your country. And if you make it to the finals, you're coming to Dubai and you're going to see the expo. So really, I think there's really nothing you can lose and everything to gain finishing the online part. Back to you, Sayeda.
Thank you, Daria. That was extremely helpful. Guys, like I said to every person I meet and say, Daria is literally like your Google. You can go to her, ask her a question, you'll just get it like this, straight up. I know her for so long, and I'm like shamelessly saying this to you right now. I never hesitate to ask her anything because I know she is my source one. So don't hesitate, like I said. And yeah. So let's move on to our special guest speaker today. We have Chaitanya who's from Haryana, and my co-host, like I said, Omeima, who will be sharing the latest insight and trends that will be quite gainful. So we would love to know more about you, Chaitanya. Can you share some details?
Hi, I'm Chaitanya Chaudhary from Haryana, like Syed already said. And I completed my schooling from Karnataka in south of India. Currently, I'm a student at La Trobe University, Australia, and I'm a final year student of Bachelor's of Commerce, majoring in accounts and finance. It's been a year since I'm back in India, and since then I have started internship in my father's office, and that's all I'm doing for now.
Well, that's great to hear that you're working with your father. First of all, I would like to ask you something that is our today's topic. So what do you think the term financial literacy means?
Financial literacy is simply the ability to manage one's finances effectively, not only for everyday living, but also in order to accomplish long-term financial goals, such as buying a house or investing in education. Becoming financially literate equips an individual with knowledge and skills that allow them to strategically manage, save, and invest their money to decrease the stress and increase the productivity. A wise man once said, "It's not your salary that makes you rich, it's your spending habits." So, way too many times do we see a hotshot lawyer with loans stacked up as tall as his mansion, who, at the end of it all, has the same net worth as someone who works in a Walmart and lives in a small apartment, except the latter's problem probably way less stressed out than the lawyer and didn't even know how he have to go through the pain of getting a degree.
That's a great answer to the question. I love the quote that you used there. My second question would be, why is financial literacy important to the youth, to the students who are here today?
The importance of focusing on youth and the efficiency of providing financial education in schooling is owing notably to technological advances, as younger generations are likely to be more financially included in their adulthood than older generations, and to use financial services to perform a wider array of activities throughout their lives. They'll also probably have to bear more financial risk in adulthood than their parents. In particular, they are likely to be responsible for the planning of their own retirement savings and investments and the courage of their healthcare needs. They may also have to deal with increasingly sophisticated and innovative financial products, services, and markets. In a growing range of countries, youth have access to financial service from a young age. It is not uncommon for them to have accounts with access to online payment facilities or to use mobile phones with various payment options like Apple Pay or Google Pay. Even before they become teenagers, before leaving school, they may also have to face decisions such as issues as car insurance, saving products, and overdrafts. Furthermore, the development of appropriate financial skills can boost entrepreneurship and provide youth with additional tools in case they'll experience economic hardship.
I think that's a great answer again. Thank you sharing that with us. Omeima, off to you.
All right. Hi. I'm so glad to have you here as a speaker with us today. And really, you shared plenty of information already. Yeah, so the next question that we have for you is, what are the basics of managing money or budgeting? How does one begin to educate oneself in personal finance?
So firstly, we need to understand what budget is. Basically, budget is a financial plan that takes income and expenses into account to provide estimate for how much one can make and spend over a given period of time. Budgeting is very important when it comes to successful money management. It allows us to see how much money we earn and spend over a period of time and helps to make good choices for both spending your money on what you need or want now and saving your money for what you think you'll need or want in future. So the basis for budgeting are basically a few things we have to keep in mind. Those are like knowing the income and expenses, which includes all sources of income, like identifying where you get your money, for example, say allowance, part-time job, gifts, etc. We all need to know what is our source of income. Then we have to also remember about the taxes. Make sure your base or your earnings on the money that you actually take home, like the net salary and not your total salary, because you have to like deduct the taxes and stuff. That's the actual money that you can spend on stuff. Keep track of everything you spend, like keep tabs on everything you spend, even the littlest thing. Keeping an accurate record of your spending habits will go a long way towards helping you understand where your money is going. And another important thing is understanding your needs and wants. An important concept in budgeting and money management is to understand the difference between things that you need and things that you want. Needs are the things you must have for survival. Example include food, water, your home, and clothing. Without food, you would not be able to live. Needs can also represent things that are key for helping you succeed at something that is important to you. Whereas wants are something that you would like to have but are not necessary. Wants are things you can put off having right away or you could do without completely. Some examples of wants could be like video game, music, or latest cell phone. Sometimes a need seems like a want and a want seems like a need. Needs and wants may sometimes seem to overlap. For example, although cake is a food, it is a want and not a need. In general, you need a basic diet to survive, but that diet does not need to include cake. So that's how it is important that we understand the difference between need and want. The other thing is saving for items you would really want. As you can see by tracking your income and expenses, you can begin to learn to save towards buying things that you really want. The key is to have a clear idea of what you are saving for and why. Knowing this information, you will be less tempted to spend on other things while trying to reach your saving goals. And creating a mindful budget, which is very important. Now that we have identified what we earn and how to spend how much money, the next step is to decide how much money you want to spend and save each month. That's what it means to create a budget. Make categories and subcategories for your budget. You may want to group school lunches, snacks, and meals with friends under a category like titled food. Other categories may include clothing and personal items, entertainment and recreation. The key is to organize expenses by what makes sense for you. Decide what you will need or be able to spend in each category. Now decide how much money you will need to spend in each category. Also, be sure to include a separate category under expenses for money you want to save for your future wants or needs. You may need to adjust your budget to fit your spendings. If you find that you have not budgeted enough money for a certain category, you can shift your monthly budget to reflect your spending pattern. However, remember that if you increase one category, you need to decrease another or increase your monthly income. This will help you balance your spendings. The final thing is to find a money mentor. So there are many great ways to learn more about how to manage your money. Besides reading book, magazines, articles, another great money resource is someone called as money mentor. Basically, a money mentor is an adult who you can look to for advice and guidance when it comes to money matters. These individuals who are already in your life can really help you make the most of your earned money. So, who could you ask to be your money mentor? A good mentor is someone you know well and can trust, knows something about money, and shows a genuine interest in your success. Your parents are probably the first choice for helping teach you a thing or two about money. But there are other possibilities like an older sibling, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, or any other family member who can make good choices as a mentor and who you can rely on. So these are a few things that one should know about personal finances or can also know how to do it and in a business, finance, or anything. This is basically all one need to know about budgeting and how you can budget your income and your everything.
Thank you so much for your great response and sharing your perspective on improving the financial literacy. I think our parents are someone who we learn everything from, like we start walking with the help of them. So I think I've seen my father always having a book that has a budgeting, and he writes what's the daily income of him and like what sources are coming in and now. So if you just see what your parents are doing, how they manage your budget, I think that's the first step of learning how to be financially independent.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to pass to Omeima, who will share the latest insight and trends on our topic. After you.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it short for you guys today, but just because the overall discussion so far that we had earlier was filled with plenty of great insights. But I do have a few things. So here is Gen Z's financial habits and thinking from spending to saving and more by the Henny's blog. So Gen Z brings transformations into many industries. Their financial mindset, shopping habits, and digital needs are a source of inspiration for future innovation. These young adults think differently. Unlike millennials or their predecessors, Gen Zs choose brands and banks based on trust, even if other companies offer lower prices or fees. The organization's ethics and values are what makes Gen Z's choice because they do care about whether or not the company cares about its consumers and the common good. Gen Z's mindset is about bringing change and improvement into the world, and they want to see the same aspiration from brands and financial institutions. And new social enterprises and fintech startups that stand for financial inclusion are the luckiest to earn this generation's loyalty and trust. They are generally known as the most financially savvy generation. From an early age, these young people start looking for ways to manage their financial issues on their own. Whether it comes to success at school, finance, or life, they are fiercely independent and competitive. This drive to move forward and be independent makes them more conscious and anxious about their financial future. According to recent studies, 72% of Gen Z say they're stressed about money. Driven by ambitions about financial freedom and early entrepreneurship, they show heightened interest in personal finance management apps that allow them to save, invest, and manage their money more easily. So, good choices, awareness, saving, investing, and money management. We're on the right track, so always learn more about ways you can do it better. That's all from me for this week, and see you all next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Omeima, for the very interesting stats there. Students can now register for the program at www.tatawwar.com. Schools, parents, NGOs, or any partners who are interested in empowering the youth can go to the website again. And don't forget to follow our socials if you haven't. It's called Tatawwar Me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we're also new on TikTok. Join us for our next interesting episode that's going to be the importance of extracurricular activities. So thank you everyone for joining and our guest speaker here for taking out her time. Adios.